Dear former Governor Malloy, there are people associated with former director of the FBI recorded involved, forcing you to, tricking you, hurting, persuading you to involvements with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and more sexual and medical offenders of kids, also people involved with untimely deaths and interstates and with the borders in the bordering countries, all these different countries in the news, they have collusions with the ones involved. A bunch of people with the name Leahy involved in Lombardo, and people more child abusers, leaders of kids, years apart, first force. They've been putting fake transcripts in databases, and a whole bunch of fire department family members are involved also with lawyers and unmarked police forms with the ones that are marked who have been putting fake transcripts and ties to kids in databases at the Wethersfield police station. And then as an adult too, two Mendez police involved with this, also with intercultural and intracultural identity theft, fraud, slanders, also interreligious spots with child abusers, leaders of kids, first force. New Britain Superior Court and Hartford's Fox Connecticut News and intelligence families next to them and with buildings next to them. They have a bunch of different natures of organized crimes and roles with different natures of organized, fake tied to their roles with fake conversations with me. WFSB also faked conversations with me. These are also the sources in the intelligence associated with Fox Connecticut News and the buildings tied to them. And these are also intelligence next to Fox Connecticut, next to WFSB, who are also roles there next to Fox Connecticut News and next to WTNH, which is all, and the sources of WTNH have roles of predicate acts with them at corners of streets next to campuses and with people involved with Russians, increasingly involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and their own against their own, our own against our own. It's nothing against Russians. This is what Russians want to counter here, and ours don't want to counter. This is what set up the suburbs from America to Russia to Ukraine to look almost exactly the same, even though they were designed before America's founders were born, to even come up with the plan to only semi-counter extort people at key locations and to force them to be roles with the American Revolution, with the Constitutional Convention. No one had free speech, even our founders. And the only founder we know the name of is James Madison. But increasingly, people with Hartford Hospital as a campus know. They have roles with fire campuses, families, and the Britain Superior Court, a bunch of people there, and the names of their positions, like a victims advocates, are increasingly involved with overt criminal enterprises and private ones. And they're pretending they're leaking when they pretend they're legitimate roles with unmarked intelligence. All natures of investigators, all sides of criminal and civil cases, putting the same sequence at the same time and other federal evidences crimes and predicate acts roles with the names of the courts and the interbranch family members at the same time with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and terrorists, even when they're not in those cases involved, as the ones involved with the World Trade Center and the spots next to it, including a court next to it before the World Trade Center, that same way, as ones involved interstates and ongoing with wire crime acts and methods and falsified police reports stacking into databases roles with Wethersfield Police, with other police departments, these same intelligence families. And they're switching and forging names and refusing papers since I was a kid. They have more people involved still with violence with that too, and their roles with the corrections officers and judicial branch officers. Many people tied to the name Scalora are also recorded with people that said that they're cousins, like named DeMoro and Cololo, involved with the World Trade Center attack, with a whole bunch of different countries, and they're educators, and with names next to campuses, and news at the same time, and their roles next to WFSB, with retired police chiefs and their intimate ties. And we're with the same house, for instance, before they moved there, and we're from where they came from, reportedly, near the state corrections offices. Increasingly, collusions with campuses, intercities, are a whole bunch of people that with Harvard Hospital's Institute of Living, and lawyers associated with them, and judges changing, faking digital evidence is also with whiting forensics Also, has state police, interstates involved with people named Phil Cololo. And they brought up the name Christine, but they didn't give a full name. They have falsified police reports with some sexual medical offenders of kids proven. And there are more recorded then and now. And further leaders of the kids that are being coached to stay predators because with the ones that already faked more fake things in the news and collusions like with the FBI, with the corrections officers, with Lance Cuddy, and further people involved with the former Mayor Gold too, with overt criminal enterprises and private ones, and people with parks and recreation, with sexual and medical offenders of kids, overt criminal enterprises, private ones, roles with a Kevin Dillon too, increasingly involved with this, and people, someone with a red pickup truck, people involved with football narratives, playing football, playing sports on the field across my street on Facebook, and regarding what was typed on Facebook and how they're holding up now are people involved with the leadership of Facebook before the sale of it to Meta, involved with a whole bunch of nations and people involved with the UN, involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids, counters to such as collusions. They have corrections and judicial branch offices and medical campuses, all kinds of medicines, crimes, and delusions relative to Black pupils. Yeah.